Our story today begins in the 19th century with a man, his family, and the tools that they would use to change the world of luxury one day. Cartier, the 176-year-old French luxury house, was founded in the year 1847 by Louis-François Cartier as a modest jewelry store, but today the $12.4 billion powerhouse is universally recognized as a synonym for opulence, cutting-edge design, and expert craftsmanship. The brand produces a slew of high-end products, including timepieces, perfumes, and leather goods that are sought after and adored by the world's rich and famous. So it's no surprise that Cartier has been so successful in winning over customers everywhere. The company today operates 300 Cartier boutiques in 125 different countries, including 3 historic showrooms in Paris, London, and New York City, widely recognized as the 3 most significant fashion centers in the world. As prosperous as it is today, to suggest that the conditions for establishing the company were precarious at the time would be an understatement. With the French Revolution knocking on the firm's doorsteps just 1 year after its launch, at a time when the standard of living was so poor and deplorable that individuals were driven to the point of eating rats in order to stay alive. Despite this, Louis-François Cartier and his family managed to turn adversity into opportunity. Not just once, but over the course of many decades, and they eventually made Cartier one of the world's most prestigious fashion houses. In today's video, we'll take a trip down memory lane to explore the humble beginnings and meteoric rise of Cartier. But first, let's meet its genius founder, Louis-François Cartier, master jeweler. For over a century, Cartier has successfully catered to European nobility with their exquisite jewels that have gone on to be described as elegant, refined, with unrivaled opulence, but this reputation did not come easily. Louis-François Cartier was born in 1819 in Paris into a poor working-class Parisian family to a washerwoman mother and a metalworker father. Little is known about his youth other than the fact that he desired an education but was unable to attain one owing to financial constraints. As a result, young Louis realized the value of money and began working to support himself and his family in any capacity he could find. He began his apprenticeship as a young man with master watchmaker Adolphe Picard in a modest establishment on Rue Montorgueil. It was here that he refined his skills in the production of high-quality timepieces, and at the age of 27, in the year 1847, he purchased the store from his previous employer, and thus Cartier was born. As the firm's owner, he quickly began making changes to its operations. Louis recognized that the store was small, but his dreams for the brand were big, so he aspired to expand his business. In an effort to diversify his offerings beyond just watches, he decided to include jewelry items as well. He splurged his money on the most exquisite pieces of jewelry he could locate from all around the world to be sold in his boutique. But just a year after its launch, tragedy struck in the form of the French Revolution of 1848. A brief period of civil unrest in which the working class of Paris rose up against the wealthy aristocrats that had looted France for ages. It was a major hassle for jewelers like Cartier, as when people resort to eating rats for sustenance, the demand for diamonds inevitably drops. However, against all odds, his company overcame the challenges and emerged successful, and there is no stopping Louis-François Cartier after that. Over the next 20 years, his brand grew slowly but steadily. His business model was to sell the jewels he bought and use the money from that to buy more expensive jewels. The founder of Cartier had impeccable taste and demanded only the best for his store. Now, there is no doubt that from its very inception, the company's clientele consisted of the wealthiest elites of society. However, it was not until his son and 3 grandsons took over the company in the early 20th century that it became a global sensation. Alfred, Louis-François' son, joined the company, and it was clear from the start that when it came to running a business, Alfred was far more ambitious than his already ambitious father. He proposed various unique ideas for product innovation and worldwide expansion. As a result, Alfred's business acumen enabled Cartier jewelry to find its way into royal palaces, not only across Europe, but far beyond. The Cartier Revolution. A new era for Cartier in Paris began in 1870, ignited by an unprecedented turn of events that propelled Cartier's rapid rise to the world stage. Over the course of the previous century, France had developed into a revolutionary nation. In 1870, the city of Paris witnessed yet another rebellion that came to be known as the Paris Commune. The Commune was a socialist revolution, and its new rulers waged war against the aristocracy in an attempt to overthrow them. The powerful people were terrified for their lives and searched for a means to flee. They couldn't get to their money because banks wouldn't let them, so they used whatever assets they could find. Most of the time, this meant their jewelry. Alfred Cartier took advantage of the unexpected occasion and offered the nobility very little money for their finest products. The elites were so determined to flee the bloodshed that they were willing to give away their most valued assets in order to earn the necessary funds. And overnight, Cartier had amassed one of France's best jewelry collections for a fraction of its true value. The brand remained the go-to brand for celebrities, politicians, and other notables for the next 20 years, and its ability to manufacture personalized goods was in high demand. Louis-François had retired by this point, and the corporation was, to put it mildly, thriving under his leadership. As a result, Cartier relocated its headquarters numerous times before landing in 1899 on the legendary Rue de la Paix in Paris, which would subsequently become Cartier's home and the location from which Alfred's sons, Louis, Pierre, and Jacques Cartier, would plan the company's expansion. 1904 marked the death of Louis-François, and Alfred, following his father's passing, made it his goal to broaden the reach and influence of the Cartier brand beyond the confines of Paris and into other important cities. The three brothers. And so he introduced his three sons into the business. While many siblings do live under the same roof, it is rare to find three brothers as close as Alfred's three sons. In order for Cartier to flourish, it would need to draw on the special skills of each of the three brothers, and in spite of Louis being the oldest brother and the undeniable leader, the other two members all made substantial contributions to the brand's expansion. Louis' dedication to excellence was the company's greatest strength. He also designed the first wristwatch offered under the Cartier name, which eventually replaced the pocket watch as men's favorite timepiece. The corporation pioneered the use of platinum in jewelry, and Cartier transformed the industry by developing a material that was both lighter and stronger than gold and silver. Any work that Louis didn't think met his standards was never released. Such stringent regulations helped distinguish Cartier from its rivals. Jacques, on the other hand, was a people person and understood the importance of staying in touch with his best clients. He started going on business trips to Asia and the Middle East in 1911 and did so often until the 1930s. During these trips, he bought jewels and pearls and suggested to the Maharajas of India that they redesign their traditional jewelry in the Art Deco style, which was popular at the time. In turn, Cartier's aesthetic was influenced by the Indian trend of using colored gems carved to resemble leaves and berries, leading to the development of the brand's now iconic Tutti Frutti jewelry collection. Over the course of 4 decades, Cartier created some of the finest jewelry the world has ever seen. In addition to magnificent necklaces and bracelets, the business created the Maharaja of Patiala's necklace, which included about 3,000 diamonds. Pierre Cartier excelled in business and became well known for his shrewd salesmanship. The United States had tremendous economic expansion from the late 19th to the early 20th centuries, and Pierre saw a lot of opportunity in New York's thriving economy. By marrying the daughter of a wealthy businessman from St. Louis, Missouri, he had access to some of America's most influential and wealthy families. The company quickly outgrew its one-story Fifth Avenue headquarters, and Pierre paid $1 million for a 6-story mansion on the corner of 52nd Street. This became the company's headquarters in New York. The Hope Diamond, which Pierre owned at one point, is possibly one of the most famous diamonds in the world. The allegedly cursed jewel, whose former owners were killed and eaten by wild canines, was quickly sold to Evelyn Walsh McLean, a New York socialite. Even though the sale wasn't straightforward, Pierre was willing to take the risk. He thought that due to Mrs. Walsh's extravagant lifestyle and socializing tendencies, Cartier would receive free publicity through her, and he was right. Although the cursed gem was only in the company's possession for a brief time, the association between Cartier and the diamond became inseparable, and by World War II, the brand had become the most prestigious name in jewelry. Post-war Cartier. After the Great Depression, Cartier was one of the few companies still operating, and its jewels and timepieces were among the most coveted luxury items due to their impeccable quality and durability. Louis and Jacques passed away within a few months of each other in 1942, and Pierre Cartier took over the company, and he continued the brand's outstanding success. But in 1964, due to Pierre's unfortunate death, the Cartier family's direct involvement in the company ended. Their name and legacy, though, will always live on the firm's name and its luxury products. When it comes to jewelry, watches, and even fragrances, the brand never stops reinventing the wheel. Recently, they've introduced some truly breathtaking designs for jewelry that are meant to evoke a sense of sight. In addition to its usual focus on high-quality materials and elaborate craftsmanship, Cartier is now also committed to creating jewelry that is made using methods that strengthen resistance to climate change while conserving resources and promoting diversity.